This awkward occurrence or awkward entertainment. So we're going to be getting into the Summer Wells case. We're going to talk about her grandmother, Candy Wells, and a few things I've noticed about their property. So I'm going to play this video and I will commentate throughout.
To a case now that's getting a lot of attention. 5-year-old Summer Wells vanished without a trace 5 months ago from her rural Northeast Tennessee home. There are few developments in the investigation into her disappearance. The family says Summer's mom and grandmother were gardening with the little girl when she went inside the family home, and they never saw her again. The community has come together to search for her and raise money for a reward in the case.
Now, the mom walked Summer to the house. Then she went back to a trailer on a property that the grandmother stays on to help the grandmother with her knee brace. Towards the end of the video, I will get more into details about that situation. But let's continue this video.
And still no sign of Summer, still no answers. And police say this case is not like the others.
Within a couple of days, we have a tip or a lead or have an idea if they've been abducted, if they may be left into the woods. Somebody saw something that leads us, hopefully, to get an answer to where the child went or if they were taken. We're going to have some tip or lead. And that is the frustrating part for law enforcement in this case and for the public.
But her father is making news, arrested this weekend on a DUI and now facing another charge of violating probation.
So, the lady states within a few days they will have some type of tip or lead that leads them to believe Summer was abducted, but they have no type of tip or lead to make them think she was abducted. And that's very strange, very strange. It makes it seem like the grandmother and the mother are conspiring, like there's some type of conspiracy going on. What type of conspiracy? I don't know. The thought Miss Wells sold her daughter for drugs crossed my mind, but let's continue.
Distraction from his missing daughter's case more than anything else. The family issued a statement following his arrest saying, "Thank you everyone for the kind messages. There are no words to what each day and night is like. We needed cigarettes. It was a stupid decision. Please keep us in prayer. Keep Dawn. This pain won't go away. Thank you."
And I don't think the father has anything to do with it, because reports are he was at work. So he was at work, Summer goes missing. The mom calls the dad, and the dad has to tell Candace Wells to call the police.
News Nation reporter Ansley Daniel with WJHL in Johnson City, Tennessee, has been covering this case and joins us now live. Ansley.
Thank you for having us tonight. Yes, this is a case that really has baffled all of us here in the Tri-Cities and here in Northeast Tennessee. And unfortunately, I'm coming to you tonight with not much more information than what we had the night Summer went missing on June the 15th from her home in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County.
And there have been a lot of rumors surrounding this case. You've covered it from the beginning. Walk us through what you do know.
So what we do know is that Summer was reported missing on June the 15th around 6:30 in the evening. Police say that she was reported missing by her father. However, her mother was the one that was at home around the time she went missing. So that's where things get a little...
And that's why I say Mr. Wells is innocent, and the mother knows more than she's leading the public and the police on.
Muddy for us here in the area. So again, she was reported missing that evening. We were told that she was last seen near her home, potentially walking away from her home, and then that story again changed just a little bit. Police have not said that she's been abducted. Police have not said that anything has happened They simply just know that she was last seen at her home around 6:30 that evening. Now, a few days after she went missing, we talked with her father a few different times.
Okay, walking away from the home. So, was she planning on going to take a stroll down the street somewhere? Because when we look at that land, there's no walking away from the home to go meet any other friends. Especially at her age, there's no walking away from that house.
About 2 weeks after she was reported missing, we did sit down with her mother, who said that she and the two of them were outside of their home planting flowers with Summer's grandmother, so Summer's mother's mother. They were all outside planting flowers near the home, and Summer was sent back inside to go play with her brothers, and Summer's mother, Candace Bly, went back to go help her mother do something because her Summer's grandmother needed her to help, and Summer's mother said she was gone maybe 2 minutes, and she went back into the house, kept calling for Summer. Summer's brothers said that she was in the basement, and then next thing you know, Summer was gone. Other than that, we have no idea what happened to this little girl. No one has been arrested as a person of interest. The only thing that we know is that police are looking for a red Toyota Tacoma or similar model, which could potentially be maroon as well.
And we're going to get into the red Toyota Tacoma and what or what not whoever owned that truck could have saw in the Wells yard. Back to the brothers. Now, did the brothers do something to the sister, and the mom and the grandmother are trying to cover it up? I've heard stories that one of the brothers are into drinking, but he's under 15 years old, and there's stories going around. He's somewhat an alcoholic. But again, did the brothers do something to the sister? The mom came in trying to cover it up. I will get more into that theory, but let's continue.
They think that this person has some information about what happened. They could have potentially seen what happened, but they don't believe that this person that was driving that truck is a suspect.
How does the arrest of her father now impact this case?
As of now, it doesn't have much of an impact besides just gaining different attention. We have spoken with him several times, and today I spoke with him off camera, and he did, kind of attribute what happened over the weekend to heartbreak and kind of, I guess, the pressure of his daughter being missing. However, that could change in the coming days and weeks. We do know that he was arrested again today while he was at his arraignment for his DUI charges over the weekend on a violation of probation charge. However, we're not sure what exactly he violated, and we're still waiting on that paperwork. We're told that it could come at any time tomorrow.
And before I let you go, do we know what's next in the investigation? It sounds like they've been trying every avenue.
As of now, they're still looking, like I said, for the driver of that red truck that was in the area around the time Summer went missing. They believe that person potentially has some information. We've continued to circle up, obviously, with law enforcement, whether it be local, state, or even, federal levels of law enforcement. And even after a massive search that took several weeks in her community, there was no trace of the child. So now what's next is potentially re-going over that area, continuing to look over that area maybe one more time. We've heard that they could have possibly something in the future planned in that regard. But we also know that for the most part they are just looking to see if they have the driver of that truck who could potentially have information. And we are continued to be told by law enforcement that as of right now, they're following up on every single lead that comes in. And like I said, we also know that, they could potentially just be circling up on leads and possibly past leads that they might, get some fresh information on as well.
All right, Ansley Daniel, thank you so much for that reporting.
Thank you.
And Summer Wells is just one of many missing persons cases that have been of interest on social media and on True Crime Reports. Bill Johnson, a former federal prosecutor and co-host of the True Crime Reporter podcast, joins me now. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So this little girl just appears to have vanished into thin air. She was reportedly gardening with her family outside. What stands out to you about the Summer Wells case?
Well, I guess to begin with, anytime there's a case of this nature, it turns out in the end that the vast majority are committed by someone they knew, whether it's a family member or someone else, someone that knew them. It's very rare that a stranger abduction or a stranger incident.
Vast majority, yes. But in the Cleo Smith case, it turned out to be a stranger who took her from the beach at Blowhole camping site in Australia. But this case seems like it's leading towards the parents knowing something, in particular the grandmother and the mom. Now, do the brothers know anything? Did the brothers do anything to Summer? The brothers are in state custody. I don't think the brothers have made any statements to police that will lead them to Summer or lead them to think the parents have anything to do with her disappearance, because Summer would be found now. You would think if the brothers saw the mom bury Summer in the yard, they would have told that by now. They would have said something by now.
Like this take place, it does take place. And I've had several I've worked on that it's been the case. But I see this as a bit of a, for lack of a better term, a country John.
But eventually, it may just come to the brothers making a statement that leads to the whereabouts or what happened to Summer Wells.
Benny Ramsey case, where the families made statements, perhaps some inconsistent statements, depending on what you read and who you believe. But at this point, there's not enough evidence, apparently, for law enforcement to either show those statements are true, the family's being truthful, or the family's not being truthful, or that any other person they've spoken with has been truthful or not. In John Benet Ramsey's case, he just didn't have enough evidence to link an individual to the homicide. And in this case, we don't have the little girl yet. And so it's a lack of evidence that makes it hard to contradict or corroborate statements. And so far, I think that's the main thing.
And I was reading about this case. It's really interesting.
And that's what points authorities to the parents. That's why they keep looking at the parents. That's why reports keep foreshadowing or emphasizing the parents have something to do with her disappearing. But let's continue.
Reignited the search for her aunt, Rose Marie Bly, who also vanished from Polk County in 2009. That's a pretty big coincidence on its face.
That's odd. It may be a coincidence, but things of that nature that happen within families, sometimes there's a reason to look a little deeper. And I think in this case, if I'm reading correctly, the other children, that is to say her brothers, may have been taken from the home by Child Protective Services. I've read that. If that's true, there's something more to it that we're not hearing yet. And that's something that law enforcement will have to work through. And I'm sure they are, and I'm sure there's much we don't know at this point.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. The only clue, as we just heard from that reporter, in her disappearance so far seems to be that red pickup truck. The whole community has been searching. It seems like they would have found something by now. We heard from that law enforcement officer saying usually we get some sort of credible clue or tip at this point in the investigation.
Well, unless it didn't happen the way their whole basis for what they're doing is based on what, I guess, the family and maybe some others told them. So if that turns out to be mistaken in terms of its time or not correct, it may be that we had a case where a preacher in Texas murdered his wife and faked it as a suicide. And the time frame he gave, which law enforcement relied upon, they just fully relied upon it for the longest time until they realized he was lying about all of it. And his alibi was completely impossible forensically. And so the foundation of what we...
All right. Let's get into this. These are going to be statements Miss Wells made to the news. But again, the brothers are in state custody. They haven't gave any type of statements that will lead to Summer Wells. So that may change in the coming month. Maybe second week of December, that may change. Did the brothers hurt Summer Wells? And the parents are covering up. And the reason the brothers haven't said anything is because they don't want to get in trouble themselves, and they don't want their mother and grandmother to get in trouble. Like, what did they see, if anything, even though they were in the house? Can they corroborate? Someone came in the house and went to the basement. Can they corroborate that? But it's the mother's word. Someone into the house and went into the basement, and she said her son said she went into the basement to play with her toys. But let's continue. Now, Miss Candace Wells was upset. Neighbors wouldn't allow police to search. Police wouldn't allow neighbors. Neighbors wouldn't allow police to search their property. So she was upset about that. But she made a comment in the middle paragraph. Bly shared some frustration with the church for Summer, indicating that she wished investigators focused less on meticulous investigation of her own family's property and had insisted on searching neighbors' properties and structures when one of those neighbors or some of those neighbors did not agree to searches. So, Candace Wells states police were more focused on their property than the neighbor's property, which again makes me think Summer Wells is buried somewhere on that property. She's somewhere on that property hidden, not alive. Now, what could have happened? Did she find a gun in the house and shoot herself? Did she fall down some type of stairs? Which I don't see why anybody would cover that up. Let's continue. Why would parents cover up where Summer shot herself? Well, maybe because Miss Candace Wells wants to keep her other kids, so she covered up Summer Wells' death. Let's continue. Now, this is drone footage of the house. I'm trying to think, let this play. I'm trying to think, where would you spot a red car, a red truck? Where would a red truck be? What would a red truck see? Would it be on that road right there next to the house, the driveway? Well, that means the person in the truck was there at the house. But you see, it's nothing but land and land and land. Trees and trees and trees. Like, was this red truck spawned on the family? More land. Police searched 3,000 acres, over 3,000 acres, and found nothing, not a shirt, not a do-rag. They found nothing belonging to Summer Wells. And their main focus was, again, the Wells property. That's the trailer the grandmother was in. She claims she didn't see anything. The mom claims they didn't see anything from the trailer. Let's continue. Now look at this. Where could a truck be? This red mysterious truck. Who gave them a tip that there was a red truck? I'm trying to think. Where did that lead come from? Like, was it a gardener, a construction worker, a landscaper or something? Like, let's continue. This is Ben Hill Road. This is where the father believes Summer was abducted. She went down a dog trail, maybe with her abductor, got into a car, and drove off. The dogs lost her scent in that trail when they got to the pavement. Now, in the newscast we just saw, they mentioned police in the future may search the area again. And I'm thinking, well, if they search the area again, they're going to find something. Like, mysteriously, her body is going to be out there whenever they conduct another search of those same 3,000 acres. A view of the trailer, back of the house, the trail. Where could a red truck see anything at? They say the person in the truck is not a suspect. They just want to know what this person saw. Like, what do you mean what this person saw? Well, this person had saw Miss Wells beating her daughter, hurting her daughter. The family carrying Summer Wells' body somewhere. Beach Creek Road. This is the area police took a helicopter one night and they searched. It was dead in the night. They had helicopters out. I don't know where they got that tip from. This is a few months ago, but they searched a field. I believe maybe that field, but they searched a field and they couldn't find anything. They were going off of a tip. Which makes me think, again, her body's going to appear very, very soon. Not very soon, but her body's going to appear in the field not too far from her house. This is a shed Don Wells on his YouTube channel put in one of his videos. I don't know why he highlighted this shed. There's nothing in the shed. It's too far from the house. They claim Summer Wells wouldn't just wander off. Cameras watching. I think this was next to the shed. Now, what cameras are watching? I believe we're gonna see another poster that says camera watching on the Wells property. If there were cameras watching, where's the footage of outside of the house June 15th, the day Summer went missing? If there's any footage, maybe they only had a camera on the front porch. But cameras watching. There's nothing here. But again, Donald Wells highlights this post in his video, cameras watching, warning sign. This is near the shed, about 50 yards away from the house. Again, the backyard, the trailer. The swing set is in the front yard, so she didn't have to go in the woods to go swing. Okay, we're going to get into the grandmother, Candy Wells. Candy Wells and her claim she saw nothing, she heard nothing, and what she was doing with her daughter, Candace Wells, that day when Summer went into the house. Now, this is the view from the trailer. You cannot see anybody leaving the back door sitting down. Now, Miss Wells and her daughter, they were on the porch of that trailer. The mom was helping her mother adjust her knee brace. That morning, Summer went missing. The mom took her mom to the hospital to get her knee checked out. They also went swimming because they had to wait for her mom to finish getting checked out, and they had to wait for a prescription to get filled. They took a 15-year-old friend with them. So, when they were at the hospital, Summer Wells and her mother went to a friend's house. They left their friend's house. They took the 15-year-old with them. They went to go pick up her mother from the hospital. Then they went to the pharmacy. They claimed they didn't want to wait in the hot car while the prescription got filled, even though they could have waited inside of the pharmacy. So they went to a swimming hole, or I forget the name of the Warrior swimming path. Either way, they went swimming. The 15-year-old friend claims Summer went underwater for about 20 seconds and he had to help her. Now, the mom claims the little boy is lying. I don't know why the little boy would lie. I don't know who the 15-year-old friend told that to, if he told it to the media, if he told it to the police. I do not know. Do not know. I don't believe he's lying, is what I'm saying. So did Summer get injured at the swimming hole? Came home. Something was still very wrong with her. And it's a big cover-up. A big cover-up. In the video, she claims, I was sitting on the doorsteps of my trailer. So you're sitting on the doorsteps of your trailer when Summer comes outside. You're out there with your daughter. She's helping you with your knee brace. Nobody heard nothing. I mean, you didn't hear the back door open and close. Summer coming out. You didn't hear any footsteps. Donald Wells claims his daughter was screaming. I don't know where he got that notion from. Police say it's unfounded. No one heard a scream, not a neighbor. The closest neighbor lives too far away, in my opinion, to hear a scream. But if there was a scream and these two were on the trailer porch, they would have heard that. But it's suspicious they heard no footsteps. They saw nothing. They didn't sense the little girl was outside. The dogs themselves were missing in action, doing whatever the dogs were doing. She states in the video, Candace was helping me and had her back to the house. So again, they're on a trailer porch. Candace had her back to the house. She's helping her mom with her knee brace, and no one hears anything. That's the view from the front yard. You have to stand up to see. The dog trail starts beside that box. Still can't see the basement door or lower driveway or trails through woods that go down to Ben Hill Road. You have to stand up to see. Right. Now, warning, premises protected 24 hours a day. This was posted by the trailer. I don't know why they put a picture-in-picture of that warning sign, premises protected by 24-hour video surveillance, when they have no video of their daughter going missing. I know police aren't going to tell us what they saw on video, but they didn't see anything if there was any video. They didn't see Summer Wells on it, or we would have found her by now. They would have found her by now. So there's a trailer on the right towards the back. Imagine being on that trailer and not seeing anything. They were outside, yo. They were outside, and they didn't hear nothing. They didn't hear nothing. Not a thing. From this view, it looks like the grandparent and the mother would have saw something from this view. Even though she said you have to stand up, but from this view, I mean, come on. I understand you got to go down that hill to see the basement door, but Summer didn't come around to the trailer and say, hey, Mom, what are you doing? Like, she just left with this mysterious person, even though her parents were outside. States Summer could have gone through the driveway. Why would she go through the driveway? Was she running away from you guys? Like, was she fed up with whatever was going on in the house and ran away? Let's back this up. So let's recap. Let's recap this. Summer Wells is missing. Still missing since June 15th. It's been over 4 months. Her mother, in my opinion, her mother is the only suspect. She's been accused of using drugs. Mr. Donald Wells has claimed there's drug activity in the neighborhood. He hasn't claimed his wife is on drugs. Parents are known. It's not unusual for parents to sell their kids to drug dealers in return, sexual favors in return for drugs, and they return the kid later. So that's what's going on here. Miss Wells gave her daughter to a drug dealer in exchange for a product. The drug dealer never returned Summer Wells, so she's trying to cover this whole thing up. Or did the brothers do something to Summer Wells? Did she fall down some type of steps? The mother is trying to cover that up, or she tried to cover that up to keep her family intact, or what was left of her family, not get her boys in trouble. So now that it's been months and months and months, it's this huge cover up. She doesn't want to come out and say what happened because she doesn't want to go to jail. Why would she go to jail? Well, because your daughter died on that property and you covered it up. So that, and you led the police astray, which they'll find some type of charge to throw at her for that. This red truck, I don't see what this red truck could have been. Right. Let me play this again.
I want to get to a case now that's getting a lot of attention.
Arrested again today while he was
cases that have been of interest on social media and on True.
Truthful, or the families know it may be a coincidence,